Sir, you're under arrest for trespassing on your own property. That's almost what the officer said until I handed him my deed.c. There's this woman, Brenda Academy Kata. She had been terrorizing people around Lake Serenity for months, calling the cops on people for walking their dogs, filing false reports, even trying to bribe county officials to throw me off my own land. Here's the part she didn't know. I owned the $800,000 mansion she was renting. 3 years ago, after 20 years in military logistics and a divorce that felt like getting run over by a tank, I moved into my late grandfather's cabin to acres of heaven on Lake Serenity, Minnesota. For 2 perfect years, the lake was peace itself. People waved, helped each other, and minded their own business. Then came Brenda. She showed up in blinding white capris and bright sweaters. She was the face of the new community within a week. She self-declared an HOA and determined that everyone needed to follow her rules. One morning, she pulled her pontoon up to my dock, smiling like a shark. "I'm here on official HOA business," she said. "Your rustic setup doesn't meet community standards." I stared. "What? HOA? The one that protects our property values," she replied, glaring at my fishing boat. "That thing's got to go." I told her my property had been in my family since before she was born, and there was no HOA. She smiled tightly. "We'll see about that, soldier boy." 3 days later, I found a phony violation notice taped to my door. She said I owed $500 for dock aesthetic issues. A pity it wasn't worth the paper on which it was printed. I went to the county courthouse and met a clerk named Dolores. She whispered, "That Carmichael woman's been in here 6 times this month." "But honey, your deed's clean. She's got no authority." Still, I dug deeper. It turned out Brenda had been purchasing properties under Carmichael Holdings LLC and operating illegal vacation rentals. The woman preaching about community standards was the one destroying them. I posted one message on Facebook. "Anyone else get HOA violation notices?" 8 messages came pouring in. Everyone a horror story. Seniors, families, single moms all, bullied by Brenda. So I started a group, Lake Serenity Truth Squad. I just smiled when Brenda called to threaten me. She said, "You're making this difficult. I'll report you for harassment. Sure, Brenda." Good luck with that. Days later, a county inspector came by and "She's filed 23 complaints," he said. "She even tried to bribe me." That was all I needed. I filed harassment charges and started digging into her records. With help from neighbors and a private investigator, we found everything. Unpaid debts, lawsuits, tax liens, fake businesses. But then came the twist. My grandfather's old lawyer called. He said, "Marcus, your grandfather created a trust before he died. You own 60%, including Brenda's mansion." She'd been paying rent to me for 3 years. She was, quite literally, financing her own demise. We documented everything, step by step. When she tried to bribe local officials to get me evicted, they recorded it. When she sabotaged my boat, my cameras caught it. Then came the showdown town council meeting. Packed gym, local news, cameras rolling. I stepped up to the mic. 3 months ago, I thought this was just a neighbor dispute. Turns out, I've been Ms. Carmichael's landlord for 3 years. The crowd erupted. Laughter, applause, cheers. I held up the eviction notice. "Ms. Academy Kato, you've harassed your landlord, violated your lease, and broken several laws. You are hereby ordered to vacate within 30 days. The ovation shook the walls. As the sheriff calmly escorted her out, Brenda screamed about conspiracies and discrimination. She pled guilty to bribery and harassment, received probation, and left town within 2 weeks. The rest of us rebuilt our peace. The Truth Squad really became a community group fixing docks, protecting the lake, and running an annual fish fry. I used her unpaid rent to start a scholarship fund for local kids who wanted to study law and environmental science. I found love with Janet, the librarian who chronicled every detail of our battle. Along with Janet, I helped turn Lake Serenity into a model for community resilience, and each morning now, as I drink coffee off of my dock, I think about the lesson my grandfather taught me. Sometimes standing up for yourself means standing up for everyone. And sometimes justice smells like pine, lake, water, and victory.